Hello everybody. Welcome to today's Yoga for Sports. We're going to be looking at a runner's body. So before we begin, please make sure that you have 2 blocks. If you don't have blocks, you can use books, even possibly cans. And then let's begin in a comfortable cross-legged seat. Cross your right shin in front of your left and make sure the knees and the ball of the foot align. Take a nice deep breath in, relax the shoulders down and away from the ears. Lower frontal ribs to the spine. Just spend a moment here. Full breath in, fill the lungs completely. Complete sigh out. Relax the hands. Inhale, reaches the arms overhead, sideways, lengthen. Exhale, lateral stretch to the right. Release the right hand down. Reach the left arm across. Can you draw this the left armpit back? Reach. Feel the stretch in your lats, in your intercostal muscles, those muscles between the ribs. Then draw this left shoulder forward. You'll get into your upper trap. Breathe. Inhale brings it back through center. Hands together, lift and lengthen. Exhale, release the left hand down. Extend the right arm across to the left side of the room. Once again, stack the shoulders. Stretch into that right lung. Then draw the right shoulder forward. Get into those upper traps. In-breath brings you back through center. Lift. Reach. Exhale, hinge at the hips and fold forward. You might have your forearms on your thighs. You might lower the forearms to the mat. You want to feel a stretch here into glute med. Just pause for a moment. Let the chest be nice and long. One more breath. And then change. Roll up your spine. When you get all the way to the top, it's a nice shoulder loop up, back, and down. Change the cross of your legs. It's the left leg in front. Walk your feet away from one another. So see if you can cross kind of in the middle of the shin. Inhale, reaches your arms overhead, lengthen and lift. Exhale, we're going to twist to the right. Left hand, right knee, right hand behind you. Keep the spine long and straight. Twist. Look over that right shoulder. Keep the left hand where it is. Inhale, reaches the right hand up and over and almost hang off this left hand. One more breath. Release. Right hand finds left shin. Left hand to right shin round. Look towards your belly button. Bring a nice curve into the spine. Inhale, lifts the chest. Release the hands. Arms overhead, lift and lengthen. Exhale, twist to the left. Left hand behind you, right hand, left knee. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist. Look over your left shoulder, twist through that thoracic spine. And slide the scapula, the shoulder blades down and away from your ears. Keep the right hand as it is. Reach the left arm up and over. Get a stretch into those lats. Then bring the left hand to find the right shin, right hand, left shin round. Hang off your shins. Inhale, lifts, reaches the arms overhead. Exhale, hinge forward. And find that stretch into glute med. You can use your blocks here. It's quite nice to rest the forearms, palms face up. If you want more, you can lower it down, bring your elbows towards the block and find a shark fin. Breathe space into that left glute med. And then switch. Bring it back. Nice shoulder loop up, back, and down. So I'm not going to be mirroring you anymore. I'm going to turn to face the front of my mat. I like to use the blocks underneath my hands. We're going to tuck the toes and press the sit bones back towards the heels, stretching out the necks of the toes, the soles of the feet. Press the hands into the blocks and look back between your feet. Inhale brings you up through a neutral spine. Exhale, tops of the feet to the mat. Let your hips lower forward. Lift your chest as you stretch into the front line. So stretch out those psoas, the transverse abdominis, which is your deep core line. The psoas being your hip flexors. Inhale, neutral spine. Tuck your toes. Press your hands into the blocks. Look back between your feet.
Inhale, neutral. Exhale, that hanging cobra variation. Lengthen your arms, squeeze your shoulder blades together. Broaden through your collarbones. Inhale, neutral. One more like this. Exhale, tuck the toes. Look back through the feet. Your next in-breath straightens out your legs and come to a downward dog. Nice generous bend to the knees. You can wiggle the hips out here. Outer armpits rotate down towards the earth. Can you lengthen your arms? Let the belly sort of move towards the thighs. And then straighten your right leg. Lift the toes if you can. Bend the right knee. Lift the right heel as you straighten the left leg. Internally rotate that inner thigh. And switch. Straighten right leg, bend left knee. This time look up and underneath that right armpit. Bring it back through center. Bend the left knee, straighten right leg, look up underneath that left armpit. Bring it back through center. Shorten your dog as much as you need to be able to put your feet flat on the ground. Then we're going to take an egg beater, so the right hand to the outside of the left ankle. See, I bend my right knee a lot here, and then twist and look up underneath that left armpit. You'll feel a stretch into glute max, into that left hamstring. Nice twist through the thoracic spine. And then switch. Right hand to the block. Left hand finds right outer ankle. See, I bend my left knee a lot. I internally rotate my right inner thigh to the wall behind me. And I look up and underneath my right armpit. Make your dog as long or as short as you need here. Stay for one more breath. And then switch. Bring it back to your down dog. Walk your feet slightly further back. Wiggle the hips. Okay. Let's take it to a half pigeon. Inhale, raises the right foot. Internally rotate that inner thigh. If you can, the left heel is flat and the toes are lifted. Alternatively, the left heel is lifted. Exhale the right knee to the outside of the right wrist. So send the knee quite far out so that the hips are squared off towards the top of the mat. We're drawing this right hip back, the left hip forward. Inhale, lift the chest. You can bring your blocks with you. You'll feel a stretch into this, the hip flexors on the left side, a little bit into the quad, descending colon, but that's not so much our focus. Our focus is more the hip flexors here. And then when you're ready, release forward. I like to use my blocks underneath my chest, as the more my body can relax, the deeper the stretch into glute max to the right side. So that's this big muscle here. And you might soften down to a lower level and fully let the body relax here. Be mindful of this right knee, 10 or 5 toenails press into the mat. Keep drawing the right hip back, the left hip forward. You may need to put a block or some support underneath this right hip, especially if it's dropping down and we're rounding or rolling around on our hips. We want to keep the hips nice and stable here. The in-breath walks us back. Lengthen, look forward. The exhale walks us to the right side. So see if the belly can kind of rest on this right thigh. Press the left hand forward and send your hips towards the left. And we get this beautiful stretch to the left side body, as well as right glute max. Maybe you look over that right shoulder. Stay. Change. Bring it back through center. Weight to the right hip. If you've got a block underneath this right hip, just move it out the way for a moment. Weight to the right hip. Bring this right shin parallel to the top of the mat. Left leg on top of the right. So, tight hips. We might have a block between the knee and the foot. Some of you may be able to get the knee all the way down. Just do what feels right for your body. We're aiming to get a stretch into the hip stabilizer. Rather use support than go for a perfect looking pose. And maybe this is enough. Straight spine. Maybe we relax forward. And maybe we come all the way down. Find what feels good in your body. We're looking to release glute med. Stay. One more breath. Change, bring it back.
A little bit of hip mobility work. Extend that left leg. See if you can keep that left leg lifted. Float it back into your half pigeon pose. See how I draw my right heel closer to my left hip here. Hands to the block. We're going to tuck the left toes, float the left knee. Press up through our shoulders, lift the hips. Now straighten out the right leg as you bring it to the left side of the room. Rotate the right outer armpit down and get a bit of a stretch here into the front of that right leg. There's been a lot of compression there for the last few minutes. Change, down dog. Wiggle your hips. Inhale will rock us forward to a high plank. Press up through the shoulders, internal rotation of inner thighs. Keep the toes tucked as you find a hanging cobra, stretching the soles of the feet, front line of the body. Return to a down dog. Let's take that to the other side. Half pigeon, left knee to the outside of the left wrist. Bring that shin vertical. And if you did so on the other side, you'll pop a block underneath this left hip. Draw the left hip back, the right hip forward, and walk your hands back as we get a stretch into the front of this right hip. Lift the chest. The gaze is forward. The neck is nice and long and straight. And by keeping the chin slightly tucked, what we do is we open the airway so we can get more oxygen into our lungs. Stay for one more. The exhale breath gently releases us forward. So grab your blocks in whichever way is most comfortable for you. Place them underneath the chest. And then fully allow your body to surrender here as we stretch into glute max to the left side. Draw the left hip back, the right hip forward. And breathe here. Fill the bottom of the lungs. Deep breaths in. Full complete breaths out. Stay for one more round. And then change. Inhale brings your hands underneath your shoulders. Lengthen, look forward. Exhale walks us to the left side. Press that right hand to the mat. Draw the right shoulder forward. The left hip back. So we're getting a stretch into the right side body, the left glute max. One more breath. Maybe look over that left shoulder behind you. Change. Bring it back through center. Roll yourself up. Bring that left shin parallel to the top of the mat. The right leg floats around. Right shin on top of left. So both the shins are parallel to the top of the mat and the legs are almost stacked. Once again, if you use the block on the previous side between the knee and the foot, you might use more than one. That's fine. Just make sure that your body is supported and feels safe. Inhale, lengthen, and for some of us, this is going to be enough, and we're going to stay here. For others, we're going to lean slightly forward. It's quite nice to have your block on your leg. For others, still, we'll come further down. Notice where you're feeling the stretch. Do your checks. Make sure you're feeling a bit of a stretch, a bit of a sensation, but we're not overstretching. We obviously do not want to overstretch any of the muscles because that's going to take us to the other side of injury. Inhale brings us back. Float the right leg up, round, and back. Bring that left heel towards the right hip, hands underneath the shoulders, tuck your right toes, float your right knee, and then stack the hips, left hip on top of right, look up underneath that left armpit. Get into the psoas, the quad. Release. Downward facing dog. Inhale is going to rock us forward to a high plank. Keep those toes tucked. Exhale to a hanging cobra. Lift the sternum. Maybe you wiggle out the hips. Draw the right shoulder forward as you look back over that left heel. Inhale through center. Draw the left shoulder forward as you look back over that right heel. Inhale through center. Exhale, find your downward facing dog. Knees nice and bent. Lengthen your arms. Press the torso back to the thighs. Crown of the head is heavy. The neck is relaxed. The end of the next round of breath walks the hands back towards the feet. You can bring your blocks with you. Generous bend to the knees.
Maybe you lift your blocks up, the spine is nice and long, knees are nice and bent, and then come to relax. Let the weight of the head lengthen through the spine. And you can play here with straightening on the in, bending on the X. Once again, just be mindful of your own limitations of movement in the muscles. But use this time to kind of pulse it out, to feel it out, to stretch it out. Bring it back to stillness. Next breath, hands underneath the shoulders, lengthen, look forward. Cross your right shin in front of your left. So it's a crisscross forward fold. Square your hips off to the top of the mat. Walk yourself to the right side. Rotate the left outer hip back. Breathe. Inhale back through center. Switch. It's now the left leg back around and the left shin crosses in front of the right. Half lift is the in. Walk yourself over to the left side, but rotate the right outer hip back. Stay one more. Change. Bring yourself back through center. The right foot meets the left. Inside blades of the feet touch. We're going to walk ourselves back to a downward facing dog. Nice deep full breath in. Exhale, bends the knees. Big toes touch, knees as wide as the mat. Press the sit bones back towards the heels and see if you can get that stretch in the chest, hands to the blocks. A little bit of a stretch into glute max. Inhale, rounds us forward, find a tabletop. Okay, roll over the right foot, press the heel back, and let's get a bit of a stretch to that right calf. Press up between the scapula, lower frontal ribs to the spine, keep the core engaged, and then internally rotate the inner thigh to the ceiling. We're going to move into the quadricep now. Inhale, reach the right foot back, the left arm forward. Exhale, you're either going to use a strap or left hand's going to find the outside blade of the right foot. Kick the foot into the hand. Here you want to feel that quad. See if you can square off the hips, but stack the shoulders. Option is to look forward and up. Those of you wanting a bit more of a challenge, you can look towards your heel. Change. Lower the left hand, lower the right knee. Roll over the left foot, press that left heel back, square off the hips. Breathe here. Inhale, floats that left foot. Reach the right arm forward. Exhale, bends the left knee, right hand reaches back, takes a bind to the outside of the foot, kick the foot into the hand. Once again, you can see my hips are stable and my shoulders are stacked. My gaze is forward, but if you want, you can bring your gaze towards that back heel. Stay for one more. Release. 3 rounds of cat-cow. So the inhale lowers the belly, squeezes the shoulder blades together, brings your gaze up. Exhale, tuck the chin round, look at your belly button. Inhale for cow, belly down to the mat. Stretch out the front of the chest. Exhale, cat. Last one, inhale for a cow. Exhale, cat. Press yourselves back, child's pose. And if you want to stay here, you'll stay here. If you're wanting a little bit of a longer stretch or stretching session, go and play the next video. Otherwise, I thank you for joining me today. May you have an absolutely gorgeous one. Safe running. Namaste.